Hello, Taurus friends. You are watching Way Lighter Life, and I'm Renee. So, this is for the back half of August. I thought that we would take a look at what's going on in a busy, busy month. We have the lunar eclipse in Pisces coming right on the heels of the solar eclipse in Leo that we've just passed on the 12th, and we've had 6 planets lining up in the sky. So let's take a look and see what it is that Source wants for you to know. What would be helpful for you to know right now? Um, so these have been occurring in your 11th house and your 4th house. So Leo is over your 4th house of family and home, and Pisces is your 11th house of friendships. Solar eclipses, the one in Leo, brings typically something new. So it's possible that you are actually moving, or that you're getting some type of second home, or that you're changing your emotional base internally. You are doing some revamping, maybe clearing out some old patterns, old family patterns. They may have come up for clearing recently, especially with Leo also having the South Node aspect in it. Um, and with Pisces, you may find that a group that you have been part of for a long time that's been important to you in some way it goes by the wayside. It is maybe not as important, or just that you, perhaps if you're moving, you may find that you move literally away from people, or it may be that you could change your workplace and you just don't see people or run into them as often. I keep trying to shuffle, and I've been asked to hold here. So let's see what it is that Source has to say about all of this. And this apparently is very much the card that Source wants you to see, because I kept trying to go past it and the answer was no, 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 don't do that. And I'm using angel cards to start with in honor of my new friend, Mariana, who loves angels and loves Archangel Michael in particular. So we have here, yes, so detach from the situation. So whatever this is that has been coming up for release, and you've spent maybe some sleepless nights. We'll see what else comes out, but maybe some sleepless nights, wondering how you're going to bring about peace, how you're going to build for the future, which you're so good at, and just wondering how it's all going to play out. You're being asked to let go of this and to detach from the outcome and know that Archangel Michael is on it. So it says to ask him to cut any cords that you have with a particular outcome, and that he will bring about the very best end. So let's see what's next. Explore your options. So detach from what is now and explore the options for the future, and what other choices that you have. So now I'm really keen to know what is going to come through in our tarot reading. So, Source, if you will please give us some more input, give us some more information. What is Taurus looking at, and how can Taurians best help themselves and those that they love? Whoop. Okay, those fell face down, so I'm not going to take them, although they're really, oh gosh, the camera went out. Hello. So the camera went out as well as they fell face down, so I'm not going to take them. So we will keep shuffling here. All right. You can see that I don't quite have my wall put back together again. I've still got my pictures on the floor, but they will get there. After that, there's a lot of shuffling here. I don't know. You're exploring a lot of options here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you have the Hermit, the Five of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, the Nine of Wands, and the Seven of Swords. So let's talk through these, and then I will clarify them further. You've been inside yourself, a little bit in a bubble or in a cave. Okay, my hair's driving me nuts here. Out of my face, please. Uh, you've been pulling inward a little bit, reflecting on the situation and trying to understand what the wisdom is that you can bring to it. You've been listening, and that's a really good thing to do. I would say again that I'm getting the picture of home, and I know that the home for a hermit is often a cave, or can even be a cell, like a monastic cell or a cottage. I guess what I would say is that it's something close around you. So if you are in a bigger home, then you probably have some little corner that you've created for yourself that is your little hideaway, and you like to go there and work or think and to rest. You've had a sense of betrayal. So you've pulled back because you had something happen that made you wonder about yourself, that made you question yourself, and to ask yourself, like, have I been on the right track? Have I been following the right thing? Why are things not particularly aligning yet? Because remember, you're being encouraged to explore your options more. So why did something happen? Or maybe it's just a feeling of being unsettled. If you are going to move in future, then sometimes what happens first is that there's this sense of not being in the right place anymore. And that doesn't necessarily mean that something is wrong. It could mean that something is calling you forward into the future instead. And that seems to be what Source is saying because you drew the Wheel of Fortune card. Make sure there's no glare there. You drew the Wheel of Fortune card. So there's an ending and a new beginning starting, which is very appropriate. This card has been coming out a lot along with the Tower card with the eclipses that we have. You've got a new beginning in your home. You have some type of ending in your network, your friendships, your hopes and dreams. So maybe something that felt like a very good fit in the past, whether that is a hope, a dream, or a group of people. It may have felt like very good fit for your identity, and now it no longer does. Or it may be that it still is very meaningful to you, but that for some reason it is falling by the wayside, at least as a very mainstay of your life. And that could also be a reason that you've kind of pulled back into this hermit mode. You have felt a bit like the wounded warrior. So whatever this was, it was not just physically draining, but it was really emotionally painful. There's been a battle here of some type. And it may be that partly you're fighting yourself. You're wondering, you have responsibilities. You know that you are not only yourself to yourself, but you're something to other people. You have relationships that matter, your family, your work, your friends, and you're trying to figure out where is that line between self-betrayal of just prioritizing other people and being true to yourself, but feeling as though you may be disappointing other people. So that is a hard line to walk. It's a great question to ask. And at some point, I would just say that honoring yourself, if it's a very deeply felt truth, then honoring that truth will be the thing that honors others. If you only honor others at the risk of betraying yourself, then ultimately you are betraying both because you can't continue that. It's not sustainable. Hard words, easier to say than it is to live, but that is what is coming to me. And it is a question of betrayal. There is someone who is being a little bit secretive. So there's a question uh, of good-heartedness here. I hesitate to say ethics because it's possible that it's that, but it may also, since we've been talking about these kind of inward things of where do our inner needs meet the outer demands, it could just be that you or someone has pulled away and is thinking about these things a little bit quietly, that you are not yet ready to share, or someone is not ready to share with you right now. So let's get some more clarity and uh, see if we can understand, is this someone being sneaky, or is it you just trying to keep your own counsel for a while until you can think through these things? And do you need to get input from others, and do you need to ask them to give input to you? So we have our first card clarifying the hermit is the Two of Swords, and clarifying the Five of Swords is the Eight of Swords. Oof. Clarifying the Wheel of Fortune is the Four of Wands. We're heading in the right direction. Clarifying the Nine of Wands is the Three of Wands. And clarifying the Seven of Swords, we have the Knight of Wands. I'm going to draw one more because that doesn't really give us a very strong end. Let's see. Hmm. The Eight of Wands. All right, we'll take it and we'll look at this. Okay. So clarifying the Hermit, as we said, we have the Two of Swords here. So in some way you have felt blocked and possibly also at a crossroads. Some decks show like an X, and there are some that show someone with their actually lead their hands that way. And I always kind of think of like what's at the center of the X there. An X signifies exchange. It was actually the rune for gift in the past. And it is a reciprocal type of energy, but this one actually asks you to go inside first. So again, Hermit inside, Two of Swords inside, and you're looking for truth. That's what swords are, ideas and truth. So clarifying the Five of Swords, you have the Eight of Swords. Yeah, you are definitely like you are staring into this water and looking at your own reflection and asking yourself what you see. Can you see yourself clearly? Do you know what's important to you still? Maybe you did once and you're wondering, are those things still the things that matter to me? Um, what does matter? And how does that affect others? But this part of it is you being internal. Then clarifying the Wheel of Fortune, we have the Four of Wands. So let me just say, Source is bringing you good news. There is an end to a karmic cycle. There is an end, but there is also a beginning, and Source is saying, celebrate it. There is something good going on here. Four of Wands is a commitment. So you are making a commitment in some way. I would say that normally Four of Wands can be a commitment that is someone also making a commitment to you, and it certainly is. It should be reciprocal, as we said. But I really am getting you've done something new. You have been exploring your options, and you're trying to do so with a fair eye to yourself and to others, as we said. But whatever this is, it's pretty big. It's a big opportunity. So good for you. Clarifying the Knight of Wands, excuse me, the Nine of Wands, we have the Three of Wands. So this feeling that you have been a bit embattled, you've been a bit of um, the wounded warrior, now is instead giving way to expectation. So the Three of Wands is about waiting for your ships to come in. In the Two of Wands, you make a decision, you set something in motion, the way that life has done that wheel of fortune, right? And then in the Three of Wands, you're waiting to see what comes of that. You're waiting to see your ships come in. And they are coming in, and you don't need to worry about this Seven of Swords because you got the Knight of Wands. There is passion here. There might be some anger, okay? And it might be you internally, it might be you at someone, it could be someone being angry with you. Remember, we talked about do you betray yourself or do you betray others? I'm just making the point there. I'm not saying you would do either. It's where's that line in between honoring what you need versus honoring someone else's needs, okay? And so whatever this is, you've been keeping a little bit quiet. It is something really important to you and very passionate. And there's going to be some communication around this. So Eight of Wands is messages. It's also in this one, they're not all going in the same direction. Normally they are going in the same direction, and it's like a little minor chariot where you're trying to get everything, all those wands lined up and going out into the world as little sticks of fire, of creativity, of initiative. I'm going to draw another oracle card because again, we haven't gotten any particular final response. We haven't gotten any particular final response. So let's just see if we can get anything through the oracle cards. Nope, just focus. Just focus. And so that goes back to explore your options. So there isn't an ending there isn't a particular, there isn't full clarity yet. What has happened is that Wheel of Fortune is turning. The hermit mode that you've been in, trying to figure endlessly, like, what's the right thing to do is starting to resolve, not because you've particularly come to any decisions, but because life is moving you forward. Time is moving you forward. And so you're just being asked to explore your options and focus right now and to practice good communication. So pretty general, but hang in there, Taurus. It means just that there is more to come, and know that whatever source is bringing you, it is cause for, where's that card? It is cause for celebration. Okay? It's a commitment and a beautiful one. So don't worry. If anything in this reading resonates with you, please like and subscribe so that you can find your way back here and others can find the channel as well. We're a small channel and trying to grow. Thank you. All right. Take care, and I will talk with you soon.